Hello, hello, hello to my wonderful viewers. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode of A Case of Distrust. We made some progress last episode. I think we're close to kind of getting Mr. Green, Mr. Connor Green figured out. We're supposed to head to the police station, I believe, is our next move. So without further ado, let's get started. So Green was really from St. Louis. He wanted to return home with cash, which he'd swindle from Tiny Paw through a fake bootlegging scheme. Green had hired me thinking I could gum up the works, get in the way of the police and the mob, discovering the truth. Unfortunately for him, I'd been quicker off the mark than he'd thought. I was going to meet with Shipman to spring my own trap. Alright, so let's go ahead and make our way. So we already went over this. So I guess when we exited the game last time, it brought us back to the Frankie's little bar area, and we had to go through that process again. But now this should all be new. Let's head to the police station. So Green had hired me for cover so that he could blow town. Shipman held the final evidence to sink that plan. I needed to get to the station. I wonder if Shipman's bad. Let's find out. I stepped into the taxi cab, consumed with my own thoughts about the case. I'd finally caught my break, but it was a dud. I hadn't realized it, but I'd been reveling in real detective work. Once I learned it all was bunk, my mind reverted to its incessant nagging. I wondered if I knew that. I wallowed in my isolation. This career had made me miserable and left me without my friends, family, or lovers to lean on. There were many modern working girls, and I quietly scolded myself for choosing this profession. It all came back to the same basic premise. You're failing, my inner voice said. I began to feel nauseous in the car. My mind repeated its last thought. You are failing. And then everything turned black, as if someone had shut all the lights. Uh-oh. My naked arms faded into view. They emitted a soft glow. I waved them. I rubbed my eyes, willing them to focus, but without success. Between my fingers, it appeared in the distance. I could hardly see, but as the object billowed, a clarity came to me. Then I understood what it was. Lewis's gray coat. I floated towards it. I reached to grab the coat, which was when I saw the needles. Uh-oh. No, not needles, glass shards falling all around me. One piece wedged itself deep in my right elbow. I grimaced, but I was unable to make any noise or movements. But then, as suddenly as the rain had started, it stopped. I looked upward with caution, wary of the rain's return, but above me I saw the gray coat. It was no longer billowing. It was rigid, a shield against the terrible rain. What is going on? I started falling, slowly at first, but quickly it gained speed. It came upon me and enveloped me completely. It was suffocating. I couldn't breathe. I let out a gasp. And then the light, ooh, it's bright. It pierced my eye sockets, hitting the back of my skull like a hammer on an anvil. I directed all my energy into my lungs and forced out a yell. That helped. Everything became quiet. I could breathe deeply. I noticed someone beside me. He gradually came into focus. Okay, who is it? Is it Frankie? I think maybe it's Frankie. Has Frankie been bad this whole time? Let's find out. Shipman showed his teeth in a big smile. So it's Shipman. I looked up at him from my laying position on the Murphy bed. He swung his leg over a chair and sat beside me. Thought you'd never come around, he said. Where am I, or what happened? What happened? I tried to ask him something, but another bolt of pain raced up my elbow. All I managed was a groan. Relax, PC. Just a few more scratches. Quite the auto crash. Flew straight through the front window. They took out a large piece of glass from your right arm. I remember none of that. I nodded in agreement. I remember none of that. I mumbled the words auto crash to myself. I wondered how bad the accident must have been. Shipman removed a flask from his pocket, unscrewed the top, and handed it to me. Not the best hooch, but might get rid of that banging in your head. I shook my head, which was slowly clearing. I felt whiskey would only make it worse. My thoughts were coming back on their own. I went to give the flask back to Shipman, but he put out a hand to stop me. Hang on to it. Might change your mind after what I'm about to tell you. Alright, let's find out. I propped myself up on my left shoulder to listen. About Green's case, the two of us figured he was going to fake his own death. Shipman clicked his tongue to his teeth and looked towards the floor. That ain't happening. Last night, Connor Green was shot through the heart twice. What? I shouted. That exclamation was impulsive. I swung my legs quickly around and sat on the edge of the bed. My headache had suddenly vanished. Whoa there, Shipman said. Look, been here with you all night, he added quickly, in that chair beside the bed. Just telephone the station to check in, and that's the rap they gave me. Told them what I'd known from you, and they said they'd chase it up. How do you know it was him? Another involuntary question. I was running on instinct. PC, faking your death involves a mangled body. Shot through the chest. His face is still intact. Whatever Green was planning on doing, he didn't get that far. It's probably his wife. And we looked it up. He doesn't have a twin. That would be too easy. Shipman grinned. Green hired you for this case. He continued, gives you every right to follow it up if you want. That said, he was likely taking you for a ride. Wouldn't blame you if you want to drop it. But I'd like your help, PC. You know the case. Could use your head, even if it's been a little bumped. Once you're feeling better, I'll be at the station. Come find me there. Shipman stood up and cracked his back. Maybe I'll catch some shut-eye on top of my desk too. Sure beats that chair you got. He turned and walked out. Okay. Our cat's still here. Well, that's interesting. So now Green's dead. What on earth happened? Who shot him? It seems like he truly is dead. Interesting. Well, let's stop here. I think this is a good place to stop. And then next episode we'll pick up where we left off, find out more about what on earth is going on here. Lots of twists and turns. Alright, well thank you so much for watching. And until next time, talk to you soon.